What's up, y'all? This your boy, the Dread Man. I'm back, and what's good, Steeler Nation? I'm here to give you guys my 2026-2027 Steelers record predictions. Now, there's quite a few significant changes that we made in the offseason, and a lot of other teams are still going through soft rebuilds, getting themselves together, and there's been some offseason injuries too, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But without further ado, here we go. First up, we got the season opener against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, normally the Pittsburgh Steelers have a pretty good record against the Atlanta Falcons, and like I said, we're at home this game. And I think the only thing that we really have to worry about is just their receiving game. But I think that since we've got some heavy hitters in our secondary, we might be able to neutralize that. And also, as long as our front seven get to the quarterback, we'll be all right. Now, as far as our offense, now Mike McCarthy is an offensive-minded head coach as opposed to Mike Tomlin. So I don't think it's too crazy to think that we can't drop at least 28 on them. Now, can we keep them off our backs as far as letting them score? That's the question. But I think this is going to be our first significant win of the season. So 1-0 going into the season. Week 2 on the road against the New England Patriots. Now, this is a team that, for the most part, usually gets the better of us, no matter who's the quarterback. But we beat them last time we faced them off of defense alone. We basically won off of turnovers and their own mistakes. Can we replicate that as a question? I believe that we can drop a reasonable amount of points on them, but we got to capitalize off the mistakes they make. And I believe that Drake May, he's going to be one of those guys this season, especially seeing as how they got to the Super Bowl last year. But some teams have a Super Bowl hangover, so you never really know. I'm just not feeling too comfortable with this one. So as much as I hate to say it, I think this is going to be our first L of the season. Week 3 at home against the Cincinnati Bengals, our first divisional opponent. We usually fare pretty well against these guys in our house. It's just that you never know which Cincinnati Bengals you're going to get, even though I don't really think it matters this time around. Because which Joe Burrow are you going to get? Are you going to get the deer in the headlights Joe Burrow, or are you going to get the fire in all cylinders Joe Burrow? Not to mention that the Bengals haven't really had that much of a defense to speak of. I mean, of course, you can drop all the points you want, but it doesn't matter if your defense doesn't hold. And if we can get to Joe Burrow, if we can rattle him, it's going to be a long day for the Bengals. So I got us going 2-1. We get the dub against the Bengals. Week 4, our second divisional game in a row. We're on the road against the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns are still getting their quarterback situation together. They still have a good defense and a good running game. But is that going to be enough against us? But, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a horrible habit of dropping games that we should win. But this year, I actually feel a little bit confident that we can actually sweep the Browns. We actually own them. And I'm interested to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, like if Aaron Rodgers is firing all cylinders at this point in the season. I said it in a podcast that I was on that I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to finish out the season. I think it'll be either Drew Aller or Will Howard time, like midway through the season. I hope he does finish the season. But I'm rambling too much now. I think that we get this dub safely against the Browns. Week 5 at home against the Colts. This is an interesting one because it seems like we trade win-loss, win-loss, win-loss every time we go up against the Colts. But I don't know what the Colts situation is this year, especially as far as the quarterback situation. Now, the quarterback situation can be okay. It's just that Colts O-line is horrendous. It's been horrendous for a while. I mean, hell, why the hell you think Andrew Luck didn't last behind that O-line? They need to invest more in that. But as far as the Steelers go, one thing that they have trouble with on their side, the other side of the ball, is their run stopping. They can't stop the run worth a damn. Maybe they fix that in the offseason, but I don't know if it's going to be because the Pittsburgh Steelers have a good 1-2 punch as far as our running game goes. And I think that our wide receivers can light them up all day. As long as Aaron Rodgers got a healthy arm, he can still sling the ball. We got, 5 good, not good, but top flight wide receivers and tight ends. So I think we're probably going to make this an ugly game. We're going to make this game closer than it needs to be. But I could see the Steelers winning this game 27-24, 28-24, something crazy like that. We have a good lead, and then we let them get back into it, and let them make the game close, and then we pull the game out of our asses at the last minute. But yeah, I got the Steelers taking the dub against the Colts. Next up, Week 6 against the Tampa Bay Bucks on the road. I don't really know what to expect from this Bucks team, but it seems like at this point in the year is when we start to make mistakes and we start to drop games. Even though, I think that on paper, this is a game that we should win. it's just for some odd unknown reason, I think that this is going to be one of the games that we drop. It's going to be one of those close games. It's going to be the opposite of what I said, where we have a good early lead and then for some reason we just completely piss the bed at the end, or we make it's some crazy ass mistake or penalty that's going to happen that's going to cost us the damn game. And we're basically just letting the game slip through our fingers. I hope that's not the case, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think we take the L on the road against the Bucks. Week 7 against the Saints in Paris. Now, this is neutral territory, even though this is billed as a home game for the Saints, the Fleur de Lis. But yes, the Saints don't show any kind of promise or any kind of threat. But to be honest, this is an overseas game, and this is kind of a trap game for us. A game that we should walk away with because the Saints are projected to be like one of the bottom 6, bottom 5 teams this year, especially with the division that they're in. I mean, they don't really have anybody that's a viable threat, and their quarterback situation is still kind of up in the air. Who knows what the hell's going to happen. And not to mention the Saints defense hasn't really been scary in quite some time. Trap game, but this is a game that we should win. So I'm going to take a gamble and say that the Steelers win this game. Week 8 against the Browns back in our house. I think it's going to be more of the same, except we're going to dominate them this time, especially with our running game. I think that this is going to be one of those games that have a slow start in the first half. Don't be surprised if the score is like 10-10, 10-13 going into the second half, and then the Steelers just going to, just blow away with it in the second half. So I think that the Steelers win the game against the Browns comfortably, and we sweep them. Then after the bye week, we're on the road in our second game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, we usually struggle with these guys, especially, going later on into the year. Provided that Joe Burrow stays healthy, I think that it might be kind of, a struggle for us. It could be. Now, don't get me wrong. We definitely have the potential and the ability to sweep the Bengals this year. But for some reason, I think this is going to be one of those games that we drop. So, yeah, I think we're taking the L here. Week 11, on the road against Philly. Philly's projected to be one of the best teams this year, not just in the NFC conference, but in the NFL. And they've been, looking hot. I mean, red hot, especially with who they got on the roster this year. Jalen Hurts, he's looking to be one of those scary guys, and don't be surprised if he can carve up our secondary, because he definitely has the ability. Now, I think if we can get to him, our front seven can get to him, then we can make a statement of us being able to stop them. It's just that we need to get, he's going to be one of those quick release guys, get the ball out quick. And our secondary, they need to be mindful of that. I think our running games are about the same, but it's going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. Unfortunately, I got the Steelers taking the L here. Week 12 versus the Broncos. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because we don't face the Broncos often, but the Broncos are going to be one of those teams that are going to be a threat, and this is going to be where you see who the Pittsburgh Steelers really are. I think this is going to be another one of those close-knit games, but I actually got us taking the dub in this one. Week 13 against the Texans. It's time for our get back, baby. That embarrassing playoff loss, we're going to get it back. So I got us taking the dub against the Texans. Week 14 against Jacksonville. Believe it or not, I think this is a game that we're going to drop because we usually struggle against Jacksonville, and it looks like they are back to where they used to be. Now, we could win this. We could pull this out, but I'm not going to hold my breath on it. I think we take the L here. Week 15 on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I think we split with the Ravens this year. It's going to be another one of those knockdown, drag-out games that come down to the wire. But ultimately, I think that we take the loss here. Week 16 at home against Carolina. Carolina's actually shaping up to be a good-looking team this year, or well, at least for the NFC South. But I think we can comfortably beat these guys. Now, don't be surprised if it's one of those trap games, but I got us taking the dub. Week 17 on the road against Tennessee. We shut down Cam Ward. We shut down everything. They don't really have that much of a receiving game and that much of a defense. That's all we really got to worry about. Give us the dub. And last but not least, Week 18 at home against the Baltimore Ravens, provided that we're not sitting any of our starters and we already have a playoff spot, then I think this will be another one of those knockdown, drag-out, down to the wire games, which we take probably like 17-14 or something like that. But give us the dub for our last game. So without further ado, here's my final prediction for the 2026-2027 Pittsburgh Steelers record. For our floor, worst case scenario, I've got us at 7-10. The ceiling, best case scenario, 10-7. But our actual record, 9-8, where we either barely miss the playoffs depending on how our division looks, or we get to the playoffs in the wild card spot against whoever and probably end up losing them. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know how I did. See you guys next time. This has been the Dread Man. Peace out.